All right, y'all. So, boom, we're now on to the top 5 players in the NBA currently. Final position, centers. So, let's get started. Now, first of all, please, please, please remember, this is about not only just their stats and the way they played last year, but also who would I want on my team if I was a general manager and I was picking a team to win a championship right now, picking a team that I think could win a championship right now. Now, very, very close honorable mention, a guy who a lot of you would have on your list, Domantas Sabonis. Some of you might even have him as high as 4 on your list. I could see some of you even saying 3 just because of the way he has played versus the guy that I have at number 3. And I wouldn't argue with you if you have him as high as 4. I'd maybe argue with you if you have him as 3, but if you have him as high as 4, I would not argue with you there. For me, it's simply this. If I had to make a championship team right now, I would simply rather have the 2 guys that I have at 4 and 5, and I would rather have these 5 guys over him. But it's very close between him and 5 and even him and 4, kind of. It's really, really close between 4, 5, and then 6, who's Sabonis. So 4, 5, and my honorable mention are really, really close to making it to this list. They just don't make it for me. But if you want to put, he just doesn't make it for me. But if you want to put him on your list, I'm not mad at you. You have a very valid argument to do so. He literally had like 60 straight double-doubles. Not mad at you. Okay? Okay. So, kicking us off at number 5, Bam Adebayo, Miami Heat's very own. He's a phenomenal defender, and his versatility on that end of the court allows him to genuinely guard 1 through 5. He's one of the only players in the league that can genuinely guard 1 through 5. It's because of his strength and his length, and then on top of that, you add quickness, you add athleticism, you add lateral quickness. You add all of these things on top of his strength and his length. He's not even super tall. He's like 6'9", 6'8". But the fact that he's so strong and the fact that he's got that length and he's got that athleticism to jump out of the gym, it just and equip that with the lateral quickness that allows him to keep up with pretty much any guard for at least like a possession or two. Defensively, he's probably the best player equipped. He's one of the best players equipped to guard 1 through 5. Like Giannis is up there too because he's got the similar qualities and he's even taller. But like Bam is one of the best defenders in the league, and the fact that him and another guy on this list have 0 DPOIs combined is disgusting. He can hit mid-range shots, and he's not a three-point shooter by any means. Please don't get me wrong. I do not think he's a good three-point shooter. But randomly, he started to make some threes here and there last year. Like, he randomly was hitting, like, I think he hit, like, 3 threes in 3 games or something last year, which for him is impressive because he doesn't even average an attempt a game. Like, that was impressive. But, like, he's not going to be a guy that's going to stretch the floor. But he can score in the mid-range. He can hit some of those catch-and-shoot mid-ranges and pull-up mid-ranges. He can score in that area. He's a very good rebounder. He's not a great playmaker. He's not a good playmaker. Like, he gets his assist to turnover ratio is about like 1-to-1, something like that. Like, it's not a great ratio. But he gets to the line a solid amount. He doesn't get there a crazy amount, but he gets there a good amount. He'll get there like 5.5, 6 times a game. He won't shoot a crazy percentage from there. It'll be in the high 70s. But you know, he gets there. He can be he can very well, in my opinion, be the anchor for a championship team's defense. He could very well be the best defensive player, be the defensive anchor on a championship team, and he's been close to that. He went to the finals twice as a defensive anchor, him and Jimmy Butler. So, like, we know that he can do that. He's a very good offensive player. He'll get you around 20 points a night, which is great. Like, when he's your best defensive player and he can also get you around 20 points a night, that's phenomenal. He's one of the best two-way bigs in the league, in my opinion. Well, in most people's opinion, I hope, at least. Number 4, Victor Wembanyama. Let me tell you. Some of y'all might have him as 5. Some of y'all might have him as 6. I don't care. The argument is there. It's valid either way. If you have him at 4, if you have him at 5, if you have him at 6, the argument is valid. I'm not mad at you. But if I had to pick a championship team right now, and I had to pick between him, Bam, and Sabonis, depending on the other pieces that I have around it, I'm probably picking Wemby. Again, it's very close between these guys, but the potential on this man is insane. His rookie year genuinely made me a believer in him. I was kind of skeptical before the draft just because I was like, I don't know about the injuries. We've never seen a 7'4" guy that can actually come out. Like, we've heard of 7'4", we've not even heard of 7'4", but we've heard of these 7-footers that they think will come out and be like, oh, they can score like KD, blah, 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 they can do all these things, and it never happened. And I was like, so let's see what happens with him plus injuries. Obviously, injuries are still a concern. They'll be a concern for his whole career as they are for any player, right? But this man's rookie year was so phenomenal that he made me a believer. He made me believe that he is not only one of the top 5 centers in the league, but probably one of the top 25 players in the league as well. And that's literally just based off of rookie year. I don't care. It could be recency bias. Don't care. It doesn't matter. He's still young, so mistakes do happen a lot. But like I said, he's already proven a lot to me. He's one of the best rim protectors in the league already, and he can literally make plays that arguably nobody else in NBA history could make because of his combination of quickness, length, and height. 7'4" with that wingspan and that quickness, the fact that he can literally just lunge from half court and basically be at the rim without even taking a dribble, like that is insane. He averaged almost 4 blocks a game last year and just under 5 stocks as a rookie. He was Defensive Player of the Year. He came in second in Defensive Player of the Year last year as a rookie. He's not a phenomenal three-point shooter, but he's a solid one, and he can burn you from there. I don't think he's really great in the catch and shoot, but he's not a great three-point shooter. He's not good at catch and shoot, but he can burn you from there sometimes. He can hit some of those pull-up threes. He can hit some threes. His field goal percentage wasn't great last year. A lot of that, to me, if you watch the Spurs, you'll probably agree, it was because his teammates were bad at getting him the ball when he had advantages, and I think that'll be helped with CP3, who will always be able to get him the ball when he's got an advantage. He'll always be able to throw those lobs, I think. He should be, at least, because we know what CP3 is. We know he can do that. That he's called the point guard for a reason. So yeah, like those, when his teammates were bad at getting him the ball and those advantages, well, those advantages often lead to easy shots that'll boost his field goal percentage. Well, when he's not getting them a lot of the times, and he's the guy that's the focal point for most teams' defenses, that's gonna bring his field goal percentage down. He was literally the defensive focal point for most teams, and guess what? He just still did. Averaged 20 and 10 as a rookie. He's a good rebounder, very, very good rebounder. Like I said, he just averaged 10, 11-ish rebounds last season. And he's not a great playmaker, but like sometimes he has a sloppy handle. He's not a great playmaker. Sometimes it's just kind of like awkward for him because it's like, well, when you're 7'4", when you're dribbling the ball and it's coming up to your hand, it's got to come up a lot higher than it does for a guy that's 6'1", so it's easier to steal. So like he has a bit of a sloppy handle sometimes, but again, with the ball handler like CP3 and with the fact that they still have Devin Vassell and these guys that can, you know what I'm saying, dribble the ball, and even Jeremy Sohan, he won't have to dribble the ball as much. It'll get him a lot of easier open looks. I think this year will be even better for Wemby. At number 3, I think most of you guys know who 3, 2, and 1 are going to be, and I'm pretty sure you know in what order they're going to be, but I'm just going to, enlighten you. I'm just going to indulge you anyway. Anthony Davis, number 3, Lakers' very own. The fact that him and Bam, this is the other guy I was talking about, the fact that him and Bam have 0 DPOYs combined, genuinely it's criminal. Like, that should actually be a federal offense. Like, that is insane. One of the best rim protectors in ball, and honestly, he might even be the best. Like, he really might be the best rim protector in ball. He's a very, very, very good defender. He is obviously a guy that's good enough to be an anchor for a championship defense. He is the anchor for LA's defense right now. But his quickness with his post moves has gone way down, and I think a lot of that is because he's had to gain some weight. I don't know how much weight he's gained, but he's had to gain some weight to play the 5 full time. So I think that a lot of that has to do a lot with the fact that his post moves have gone down. And you would think that maybe he would be like stronger in the post and everything like that, but it's just like it seems like he's not comfortable in the post as much as he used to be when he's going against bigs that are just as big, just as strong as him, because he doesn't have that quickness to beat him like he did when he was in New Orleans. 3-point shooting has gone way down since he was in New Orleans, but he's not really out there playing like that anymore, especially now that he's a 5 and not a 4. Phenomenal rebounder. He's a guy that averaged like 12, 13 rebounds a game last year, and he's a solid playmaker inside action. Not a great playmaker, but he's a very solid one. He has a very good 2-point efficiency. He shoots like 53% or something like that from 2-point. Like, it's insane. And he can score in the mid-range, which helps when he's, that post game isn't great like it used to be. The fact that he can still score in the mid-range and the fact that he's still so athletic and is very much a lob threat helps his offense a lot. He gets to the line a good amount, and he'll convert it over 80% once he's there. So again, that's free points for him, and that helps his offense as well. When you're the best defender on a team, you don't need to be a guy averaging 30, but he could. He very well could. Number 2, you know who this is going to be? Joel Embiid. Y'all knew who 1 and 2 were going to be before you even clicked on the video. Maybe you didn't know AD was going to be at 3, but you knew who was going to be 1 and 2. Genuinely, I believe this. He was on pace to have one of the most dominant seasons of all time last year before his injury, and I believe if he never gets hurt, last year he would have won the MVP, maybe even unanimously. Like, it would have been, like, the things that he was doing before he got hurt, it was disgusting. Most dominant scoring, I didn't say offensive, most dominant scoring center, Shaq. Easily the most dominant center scoring that I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. He's also a very, very good defender. It's most of that is a lot. It's a lot of that on both ends is because he uses his size, his weight. Like, he's like 7'1", 300 pounds. His length, his strength, and his strength to his width. Did I just have a stroke? Bro, never mind. Anyways, I was about to tell y'all. There was about to be a yapping story, bro. Like, it was, y'all did not care. But anyways, he uses his size, weight, length, and strength to his advantage, but he's still quick despite literally being massive, besides being a massive guy. Whoa, pause, but you understand. I hate the foul baiting he does, but because of his foul baiting, because of the way he plays, he is literally the best player in the league at getting to the line, in my opinion, and if not, he's no lower than second. Like, he's one of the best players in the league getting to the line, and if he catches it at the nail or closer, like at that free throw line extended or closer, guaranteed bucket. Like, he's going to score that 80% of the time if he catches it in there, unless you send a double at him. And even then, he might just rise up over you and hit the jumper. Like, the man can score from literally everywhere on the court, and he's efficient at scoring from everywhere on the court. He's a good playmaker inside action, but sometimes he does have some sloppy plays, some sloppy handles, some sloppy passes that lead to turnovers. I'm pretty sure he turns the ball over like 3+ times a game, which isn't great, but, you know, instead action, he's not a bad playmaker. He's a very good, and I think even his passing got a little better this year with like just the passes he was able to make like in tight windows and stuff. I do think it got better this year. He's a very good rebounder, and on this list, in my opinion, he's the best 3-point shooter. I'm pretty sure he's the best by percentage as well, but he's definitely the best in my opinion 3-point shooting on this list. Number one, you knew who this was going to be, Nikola Jokic. Best player in the league, does not have any single flaw offensively, and that might sound like glazing, but I don't know what else to say. Like, he genuinely does not have a flaw offensively. But defense is very bad. In the playoffs, if you watch during versus LA or those first 2 games versus Minnesota at home where they went down 0-2, the defense was literally like terrible. Like, it was maybe some of the worst superstars. Like, you want to talk about Luka, this was the worst defense superstar-wise I've ever seen in my life. Like, ever. It was genuinely like he was just letting Anthony Edwards and these guys get a layup line at the rim. Like, it was genuinely like he didn't even care. Like, he wasn't putting a hand up. It didn't look like he cared. But then, in those last 5 games versus Minnesota, again, they lost the series, but like in those last 5 games versus Minnesota, his team needed him to do some more defensively, and in my opinion, he did that very well. He's a phenomenal rebounder, phenomenal playmaker. I think you know this, and he's just like Embiid. He's literally efficient in all areas of the court on offense. There's nothing you can really do to stop either of those guys offensively. And the thing with Jokic is that he's such a good playmaker, he's arguably the best playmaker in the league, that it's like even if you can stop him from scoring, which you can't, he can still get the ball to his guys in windows that you would never think is possible. He can still get his guys open in ways you never thought was possible. So it's disgusting. So yeah, that's it, man. Those are my top 5 players from every position in the NBA after 2024. I'm going to start doing these every year. This is my first year obviously doing YouTube. So, you know, let's start getting some success on this channel, and then you'll see these every year after the end of the season. But yeah, just excited for the season to start up, man. We're getting close to USA basketball playing their first game. I think we've got like 10 days or something like that as I'm recording this. So yeah, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching, man.